Let us just proceed with estimating working capital requirement. Just actually, we're just on the same ratio, those ratios, inventory or trade receivables, as well as trade payables. It's all on that part. Estimating working capital requirement. You know why? Because when you need working capital, first of all, you need to know how to obtain it. What is working capital actually? Working capital can be defined in net terms as current assets minus current liabilities, or in gross terms, which is current assets alone. But in case you're not told about anything, we usually determine it as a net term, right? Right. So net working capital equals to current assets minus current liabilities, as you just said above there, right? So what we need to know is what comprises of current assets and what comprises of current liabilities in just their formula. So inventory can come in three different forms. It can come in form of raw materials, work in progress, as well as finished goods. So be prepared in case you are given inventory in form of raw materials. So raw material, in case you need to get raw materials, you just say raw materials equals raw materials used over 365 days times raw materials holding period. You know, raw materials may just stay in store before being processed. So that's what we call raw materials holding period. And work in progress now. Work in progress is something that is in production but is not yet complete. So we will also hold it to the time from the time the process of production starts until it is completed. So that's why we say the production cost in work in progress it depends over 365 days and work in progress holding period. In case these periods are given in days. If they are given in months, it will be over 12 in a year. If they're given in weeks, this will be over 52. So you just have to cope with what we're provided with. Alright, and then finished goods. This is what we are used to always. We can say production cost of sales over 365 times finished goods holding period. Or you can just say cost of sales, no problem. And then is for trade receivables. I think this was this already in the previous ratios. So trade receivables equals to credit sales over 52. If you are given, now I just decided to do this. In case you are given a form of weeks, you divide by 52 weeks times trade receivables collection period. In case it was days, it will be 365 days as usual. So do not be swayed by this one. By 52 here, I mean 52 weeks, right? Okay. Trade payables, the same. Trade payables are just take if maybe it's the trade payables on raw materials, you have to read the question. If it is based on raw materials alone, I would say raw materials purchased over 52 times trade payables payment period. But in case the trade payables on the finished goods, maybe you are not producing. Actually, the supplier gives you finished goods and you just need to sell them. It will be credit purchases of goods actually over 365 times trade payables period. So you can use 52 or you can use 365. All right, whatever you wish, you can just do. Now let's just take a look at an example, and actually this one will be over. It's just about an example and finishing. Question. Prod Limited, a Tanzanian manufacturing company, expects credit sales of $3.3 million in the forthcoming year and have budgeted production cost as follows. In $1,000 we have raw materials, which is $8 million actually. Direct labor, $9 million. Production overhead, $6 million. Giving you total production cost of $23 million, right? Right. We are given further information that raw materials and the finished goods are in inventory for an average of 3 weeks and 4 weeks respectively. So raw materials holding period equal to 3 weeks, while finished goods holding period equals to 4 weeks. Then all raw materials are added at the start of the production cycle, which takes 5 weeks, and incurs the conversion costs, which are labor and the production overheads at a constant rate. All right, so we are given the information about the raw materials added at the start of the process, which take 5 weeks. So the time of production, this means work in progress holding period. But you know, work in progress, you have to be told the percentage completed, but you are not given it. Maybe so far they just said it. In case it is not provided to you, just presume that it is complete by 50%. All right, supplier of raw materials allow 3.5 weeks credit while customers are given 10 weeks to pay. These are suppliers but of raw materials, not this one, not of finished goods. We are producing for the goods ourselves. Required now. Work out the working capital requirement if production takes place evenly throughout the year. What are we going to do? Let's just go back. Let's just go to the solution and work out all this. Now, what we need to know at first in this one, gross working capital is just current assets in full, but net working capital is current assets minus current liability. So let's start. With current assets, we have inventory, we have trade receivables. For current liabilities, we have trade payables. That's what we already have at hand. So that's what we should do. So if for inventory, we have raw materials, work in progress, and as well as finished goods, right? So to obtain raw materials, we just say raw materials used over 52 because we are given the question in the form of weeks, so it will be over 52 weeks, then raw materials following period. Are we right? Then raw materials following period. I think this is what we should have done. Now, what were the figures given? Raw material holding period. Yeah, we are given that raw materials are held for an average of 3 weeks. This is what we're given. Raw materials used. Since we are not given opening inventory, because most raw materials used, you have to take closing inventory plus actually raw materials purchased minus raw material minus opening inventory. But we do not have that. So presume that we have used all these 8 million. All right. So that's what I'm just going to do. I'll just say 8 million raw materials used for 52 weeks and 3 weeks, and I would have 461,539. After that, I'll just go to work in progress, which I obtain as follows. Production cost of work in progress over 52 weeks times work in progress holding period. How can I obtain those figures? I have to go back to the question. We are told here that all raw materials are added at the start of the production cycle, which takes 5 weeks. So the production cycle takes 5 weeks, so this means work in progress holding period. Now, what is the production cost now? All this is the production cost, but we are told that materials, all raw materials are added at the start of the production cycle. So we presume that all these 8,000 would be counted on the work in progress. But since the production takes place evenly throughout the year, I could just say that, oh, the production takes place evenly throughout the year. So I will just take this conversion cost that is 9 million and 6 million and take 50% of them. So yes, because I'm not provided with actually the full completion of the work in progress. So that's what I'm just going to do here. And I would say raw materials plus 50% of conversion cost over 52 times work in progress for the period. So 8 million raw materials because it was added in full at the beginning of the process, plus 50% of labor as well, direct labor as well as production overheads. That would give me after multiplying by 5 weeks holding period would give me 1,190,385. And then I would go to finished goods. How would I obtain that? Finished goods equals to production cost of sales over 52 weeks times finished goods holding period. How do I obtain that? I'll just take them all, finished goods, production cost of sales. Since you're not told the goods that remain in inventory, you presume that you have sold them all. So you could just take the production raw material cost of conversion cost over 52 and finished goods holding period. So it's just like up here, but we not take this 50%. So I will end up with 1,769,231. And 231. Then as for trade receivables now, because we are done with the inventory, now for trade receivables. This one is the formula for trade receivables, right? Now ignore this figure here, ignore this figure because I decided to change. I changed this question a bit. As you see, the question is already given in dollars in full, right? Yeah, so I just decided to change this question. So I advise that ignore this one. You have to ignore this one. I have to change it a bit so that you get it. Ignore this one. This one should be ignored. So I'll just go directly to the question that trade receivables equals credit sales over 52 times trade receivable collection period. What were the receivable collection period? I'm told here that customers are given 10 weeks to pay. So if they are given 10 weeks to pay, I would say credit sales, which is 33 million over 52 times 10 weeks, which would be 6,346,154. I'm repeating again, ignore this line here of credit sales. Let me do this. Let me do this. I just said that. I just said that you should ignore this one. This one was given in the question. So you just ignore this one. Credit sales was given, this one was given in a new question. This one was given in full. It was given in $33 million. So you do not need to worry about that one, right? Okay, and then we come for what for trade payables. How do I obtain trade payables? This trade payables was for my raw materials. Now you have to read the question. It's not for finished goods. So trade payables would be raw materials purchased over 52 weeks times trade payables payment period. Plug them raw materials purchased. We purchased. Actually, we used raw materials of 8 million, but we are not told that we had opening inventory or closing inventory to 8 million. So I have to presume that I purchased it all during the period, right? So this is what I'm going to do. And then I would multiply by trade payables payment period. I now obtain the trade payables payment period. We are told that suppliers of raw materials allow 3.5 weeks credit. So it will be 3.5, and if you multiply, it will obtain $538,462. So you would have obtained everything. Now what we need to do is just to complete the gross working capital, which is the current assets, which involves inventory of raw material, work in progress, and the finished goods, as well as trade receivables. All right. Yeah, actually, when you need to know the gross working capital, you do not deduct trade payables. This one, actually, I think there was a typing error because it's just current assets. So do not reduce trade payables. So raw materials inventory, work in progress inventory, finished goods inventory, as well as trade payables. You see, you do not have to deduct. Do not deduct this. Just come here. Gross working capital is not current assets only. Net working capital is when you deduct current liabilities. So we just sum them and you get this one. If you need the net working capital now, we say it's a gross working capital minus current asset liabilities. So gross working capital, I have it here, 10,067,309 minus current liabilities, that is 538,462. We end up with $9,528,847. So that's what we end up with. So this is how we estimate the working capital requirements, and everything is fine.